My camera's off.
What do you mean by that?
Like, look, you can't see.
I see you on the broadcast, though.
Okay, I don't see it on mine.
Okay.
For some reason, her camera freezes every once in a while.
It really does.
I don't get it.
I'm going to get out of your way here. I'll get
No,
it.
you're fine.
Joe, it looks like Rumble came up fine.
Okay. Thank you.
Hey, Joe, when you walk right outside of the door, I have a water on that counter. Could you grab it for me, please? Thank you, buddy. You can even, well, you can't really toss it. You have to hand it.
There we go.
I'd hit the lights. Thank you.
There we go.
I'd hit the lights. Thank you. There's so much good stuff today to talk about. I don't even know where to start.
I know, there really is.
And we're missing stuff.
There's just so much. Good and not so good, but then it's good to talk about it.
But Chiefs fans are upset today. Chiefs.
They're blaming it on Taylor.
Well, Travis Kelce did fumble the ball as they were going to score on the 10-yard line.
Yes, he did.
They did drop a game-winning touchdown late in the game. I felt so bad for Patrick Mahomes. Pat Mahomes did everything he could.
Yeah, Travis Swift had a bad day.
I'm not a big Eagles fan. And besides, my Detroit Lions want home field advantage in the playoffs and are one game behind the Eagles, so we need the Eagles to lose.
Yeah, Eagles got to go.
Although I have some pretty good friends who are Eagles fans.
My son growing up was an Eagles fan.
They're a nasty bunch.
They are. They are nasty. And if you're ever sitting behind their fans, you would go to the Rams game and you'd sit behind one of them and goodness gracious.
Hey, good morning to the Freedom Express Media. Good morning to Bendy. Kimberly, Troy, Lizzie does have fast thumbs. See, it's one thing to be fast and inaccurate, which is what I am. I have big fat thumbs, like block hands. Like I don't have big. I don't have long hands, but I have fat, thick hands and fat phalanges.
Fat Vic, the fat phalange.
Fat phalange Faust. So it's difficult to type fast and accurate because you guys know when I text it's like, what the frick did Vic say?
Yeah.
You're fast and accurate.
Most of the time. I've made plenty of mistakes on the chat line before.
I spend more time correcting spelling and punctuation than actually typing the message itself.
Hey, are you going to turn your camera on today? Or are you going to continue to cause us issues, dude?
It's because
I just have to find a faster way to set it up. It's never. It's always the last thing on my list, and it's always never have time to do
Good
it.
morning, Naomi.
Conveniently.
Good morning, Mike. And no, not convenient. We need we need that shot, man.
he likes being with
Even if you want to put your hoodie on.
I ain't scared.
He ain't scared.
I think it adds an element. You look like Luke on the dark side.
You think I look like Darth Vader?
No, the guy from
Palpatine?
yeah, the guy
Emperor Palpatine.
who wears his
Oh my god. With the hood on. Okay.
It's all
young
about
Luke
the hood.
Skywalker.
I was like, thanks, man. That dude's
He's
ugly.
progressing faster than we thought. Hey, Greg. Good morning to you. Almost turned into the what was that from? What movie was that from? Batman.
Batman.
You merely adopted to the dark.
Oh, Batman.
I was born in it.
Bane.
I think that was something to that quote. All right, let's go ahead and rock and roll. We got a lot to get to today. We'll start the show before the show over. Let's get it going. Hey, Aaron. Happy Tuesday, November 21st. I'm Vic Faust with Lizzie Sparks and Projo. This is cancelthisshow.com. We bring you the energy, the information, and the entertainment Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. Central, and all the time on our website. Cancelthisshow.com. Check it out. All of our original content there as well. As we broadcast live out of the St. Louis, Missouri area from the luxurious airport hangar, Strategic Air Services, in the Chesterfield Valley at Spirit Airport. Okay, news headlines, politics, cancel culture, education, business, you name it. Interviews from all over the country. And Fridays, we get a little wild with a little fun. Eric Johnson joins us on Fridays. Kelly Mano every other Friday, the social media superstar and rock star. We do our best to keep it going. And of course, this is a live cast, and we are grateful when you guys jump in. As part of the live cast, you are the entertainment. You are the information as well. So thank you for having such a massive role. You're not going to find a show with more interaction than we have here. Lizzie and her fast phalange thumbs. Ding, ding. She puts out about 20 messages a minute. Anyway, we're ready to rock and roll. Let us know if people want to see our big guy, our guy, Projo, who sits behind the camera.
Mm-hmm.
Just encourage him, get that damn camera out. We love the other camera shot when we have it. By the way, because we tape other shows in the studio, let us know if you ever want to do podcasts. We rent the studio out. We help get you going from that standpoint as well.
Then you get to see me in person.
Yeah, you get to see him in person. Wesley, there's a show called Slightly Right. Wesley was looking for a studio cam today. I just popped in my brain, so I let you know that he was wondering if he could do the studio cam today.
Absolutely.
I said it all depends on how many guests you have coming in, and
right.
we have enough cameras. Derek says Vic's having a great hair day today.
Yes, you really are. You are having
what?
a good hair day.
I feel, you know why? I didn't wash my hair this morning.
You know what? People's hair always looks good on the day they don't wash it, unless they go a week or whatever.
Yeah, maybe. Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always true.
There you go. No, it was funny. I hadn't seen a guy in a while the other night at a birthday party, and he is 10 years my younger, and he's full gray.
Yeah.
And he's like, speaking of gray hair, and I'm like,
he's going to talk about your gray hair.
Because I stopped coloring it, I don't know, 3 years ago.
Yeah. It looks good. I like the gray.
But it's still hard for me to get used to. Still hard because, I mean, who doesn't want to stay youthful? I mean,
yeah, I do. That's why my hair's all gray and I dye it.
Hey, when we see ourselves age, it's part of God's plan. We age. Everything comes to an end at one point in time. You enjoy every age of life, but it still doesn't make it easy necessarily. Correct. When you see yourself aging. And then the gray hair, when I finally started to let it go, when Donald said, no, it's time. Donald said, it's time you let go gray. You go gray.
You'll go gray.
He's like, just let it happen. Now, I love color. Can't even make color. Donald is our Chinese friend who joins our
Yes.
show and
He's
has
great.
the coolest accent ever. Troy says, stay young at heart. Derek says, at least you're not balding. I have embraced the balding. Well, I was balding, and I talk about that. I did the hair transplant, and I talked about it public when we were on the edge. I went in because I was balding on the crown of my head. You never know where this podcast is going to go.
I know. Well, let's talk about your head.
Yeah, but I had no problem. I mean, talking about it, trust me.
Yeah.
We're all not that cool. Too many people take themselves way too
They do, and they
serious.
think they're so cool.
I didn't have the money to do it at the time, but it was part of a trade that we did on the edge. So I went in to Hans.
Yeah. You went to Hans
Yep,
Wyman. That's right. That's right. Yeah.
They cut the back of my skull. I have pictures of it. I won't show it right now. It'll gross people out.
You should.
But what they
it.
do is they take little chunks out, and then they take the hair follicles, they pull it out of the skin, then they reinsert in your spots, like and then your own hair grows.
That's
no
so
BS.
Cool.
And it did.
So cool.
And boom. So they did that. They put a little in the front, and there you go.
There you go.
So it wasn't natural, Derek, or I'd be balding as well.
You could put then do you put cream on your head too? Like
only conditioner.
Okay. Well, there you go. I didn't
What kind of cream are you talking about?
Well, you know, like some people that are losing their hair, they have special hair follicle cream that makes their hair grow.
And it works?
I guess.
I don't know.
I don't think any of that
Miracle
really
Grow?
been proven.
Miracle Grow for your head.
Right.
Yeah, mine's like
you could be a chia pet.
Yeah, I was going to say it'd be more like Chia Pet.
Yeah, there you go.
Chia. This is canceltheshow.com. Vic Fouts, Lizzie Sparks, Projo in the house. Lots to get to today. And thank you, Derek. I appreciate the compliment. Aaron said, heard on the news this morning, Vic's old pals, Fox 2 anchors getting shot at. Yeah, Andy Banker. We went to the same high school, by the way, in the St. Louis area. Andy was just, 5 years older than me. So he was already out before I got there. But here's what happened. Andy, I sent you the video, didn't I? Did I not send you the video, Projo? I thought I sent you the video. Check it out if you did. It's bizarre because St. Louis already has a bad reputation. And this happened on Chippewa. I think it was in South City where this occurred. Yeah. And you'll see the video. And Projo, if I didn't send it to you, I'll send it to you. Just let me know. I can't remember because I saw it late last night. Andy Banker, reporter out in the street doing a story. And what happens is he gets shot at with a pellet gun. Check this video out. Yeah, play it a couple times really quick. This is bizarre.
Yeah, it is. And you hear him go, ow.
Now, thankfully, Andy was not seriously hurt. However, it did hit his head. And anytime you're in the way of a pellet, pellets can take out your hearing. They can go in your ears. They can go in your eyes. They can take out an eye. They can hit you in the mouth. They can bust up teeth. Is a pellet going to kill you? No, but allegedly these were teens, African-American teens, as you can see in the car, driving around. And allegedly neighbors say they do this
a lot, apparently.
A lot. This kind of crap's going on.
Yeah.
And especially when you're trying to work, Andy's doing a report, standing up, you're looking at a camera, all your attention's toward that. And then cars driving by doing this. This is not the first time this has happened. There have been reporters who have been shot with actual bullets. There are reporters who have been shot with rubber bullets. There are reporters who've had bags of urine and feces thrown on them. Lots of things can happen when you're out in the street. It's sad that this stuff happened. Thankfully, Brian Ledford, who's a good friend of mine, the photographer on scene as well. Literally, Mary says from the Facebook chat line, have to wear helmets when you're out there. There's also places where reporters, most of the time it's been female reporters, that will talk about not wanting to go to a certain spot.
I can believe that.
And especially when the George Floyd situation happened in St. Louis, there were female reporters who refused, and anchors said, I'm not going to certain places. It's not safe unless you have security that are taking me somewhere with you. I did experience this. In Detroit, I was called some names. I was by myself. I was the first backpack journalist in Detroit, meaning I shot my own video. I edited, came back, put it all together, and then I anchored. So I was out in the streets by myself. And when you would go to some bad areas by yourself to do stories, you'd be thinking twice. I'm a bigger guy, I'm like 6'2", 235. And I was never really afraid to go anywhere. And I didn't have a gun at that time walking around anywhere, but you probably should. But there are people who will threaten you. I've been threatened out in the streets. several times. Was at 2 car accidents, and people are on edge. They're nervous. They don't want to see cameras, so they'll yell, "You had a guy get in my face, threaten to kill me and my family." I talked about the situation at the Detroit Red Wings parade going back to when they won the Stanley Cup in 2007, because I was running up to do interviews at a parade where all the players would lean over and talk to you, but that's the only place media could talk, and I was the guy on the street, and people got pissed off because they couldn't take pictures of their favorite players. So they're all pissed off, so then they started chanting, "Go home 7." Like, literally had an old woman get in my face, and she didn't spit on me, but she was yelling so much at the spit and so close that it was on my face. I'm on the phone with my boss. I'm like, "Get me the hell out of here." So yeah, it's not fun when you're a reporter out on the streets doing some of that stuff. So if you ever see anybody doing that, report them. And thank God there was security camera to get that car. If they haven't found those guys by this morning, they will.
Because hopefully so, but will they do any jail time
all
if it's in South City?
All 15 officers on duty in the city of St. Louis.
All 15. All 15
will be designated to find that car as it came through. Can we show that video one more time, Pro Joe, just to show people what that car looks like? And this stuff can happen anywhere. And just imagine you can be shot with a pellet gun anywhere. It doesn't have to just be a reporter. And that would scare you shitless too, because you don't know if you've been hit by a bullet, because the initial surge of energy. Andy, I haven't talked to you or somebody. Andy, I'll text you later. I hope you're doing. He's all right, but Aaron says that's a badass pellet gun with an automatic fire trigger. Yeah. Aaron says I need one of those for the squirrels. Anyway, those are the kind of things that happen. But I've been in that situation. It's not fun. It's not part of the job description. And I promise you, let me let you in on a little secret here. Even though you see people on television, reporters, there are very few people in television who make what many would consider good money.
Right.
I'm just telling you, you have to be number one and be an anchor for a long time in a big market. And you could do it. And I was very blessed when I was anchoring in St. Louis, because I had worked in other markets for like 17 years before I got here. You don't make a lot of money. You do not make enough money to go out in the streets.
No. And get shot at.
And face all kinds of abuse that you do. Reporters and photographers do a lot. As a matter of fact, we had a guy that was out, and I think it was in the George Floyd situation with the riots in Ferguson. Not George Floyd, Michael Brown, excuse me. We had a photographer. He was out with Elliot Davis, St. Louis news reporter. He got shot in the butt.
Shot right in the butt.
Yeah, shot in the butt. That kind of stuff can happen. Wesley, you guys rock. Thank you much. I appreciate it. We talked about Wesley's show earlier called Slightly Right. He goes live at noon. Interesting show. Very entertaining for sure. He goes live at 12 o'clock. You can check out Wesley's page called Slightly Right. That show obviously goes through our studios here with canceltheshow.com. So anyway, that's starting to make national news, because there's good video of Andy getting shot at.
Well, and like Troy is saying, this is what is making St. Louis look like a shithole.
Aha.
And you can't even, last year, Vic, we went on the Polar Express, and for years we would get on it and they kind of blacked it out, and you couldn't see outside, which was good, because then you really couldn't, envision that you were going to the North Pole for whatever last year. And I'm hearing it's going on again this year.
When was the last time you were at the Polar Express?
Just last year. And so we were in the Polar Express, and they no longer had the windows blacked out. And we started to drive.
Where does it take you, the Polar Express?
It takes you, where Union Station is? It takes you about a mile, deeper into the city towards Illinois. And we've been on it 4 times now. And it's really cool until they took the windows and made them where you can see out. Because before, when you couldn't see out, you thought you were going to the North Pole, and you ended up and you saw the North Pole. Now you actually see what Kevin and Troy and a bunch of people are saying on the chat line. It does look like a shithole. You see debris and dirt and abandoned buildings, why would the people that are putting that on, why would you not blacken the windows out again? Why would you allow people to see that?
Okay, so the Polar Express just and these kind of things are happening in cities all over America.
Yes,
That
yes.
this country has been in a very bad state for 3 years. So if you can explain, here is the video of what you were talking about, Lizzie.
You talking about what the
Yeah, no, here it is. This is it. Where is this taking you in the city of St. Louis?
Okay, so if you're in the city of St. Louis, you start at the Union Station and you really only go about a mile or so. And yeah, look at this. And so you go closer to Illinois. You go about maybe a mile and it goes that slow. And see this picture. I'm sorry for any of you that are just listening on the audio, but if you're looking at it, you can see abandoned buildings, filth, mattresses, trash, homeless people. And I'm not sure why the Polar Express would not black out the windows again, because you don't even think about it when you're on the train. You're supposed to see Santa and talk and eat Christmas cookies and sing songs. But if you can go to the Polar Express and the lights are still on, and it is absolutely disgusting.
Come on, kids.
Come on, kids. Let's go see the homeless because Santa doesn't bring them any presents.
Well, it's not just that it's the homeless. It's dilapidation.
It's disgusting.
It's trash.
Looks like a third world country.
Good point, Joe. It does. It was so embarrassing last year.
For our listeners on the podcast, we're showing video of an area right near Union Station in the St. Louis area where people are going to try to enjoy holidays and actually paying.
We pay good money to be on that train. It's expensive to go.
Yeah, and I saw the video, and I was glad. Chris Nagus, I think he's with CBS. He posted the video, and that's where I saw this and put that through. And I was glad that you brought that up, Lizzie, because some of these things, it doesn't give St. Louis a very good look. And once again, it takes a long time to change perception. Perception's reality. And of course, when you have these situations going on, who's going to want to go to the city of St. Louis? And then, not to make this all about St. Louis, we'll get in and get out of this, but we show you this video. And then we find out yesterday as well, Mayor Tashara Jones, if St. Louis reelects her, shame on you.
Yeah, shame
and not
on
because
them.
I'm saying she's a bad person, but I'm only saying this because of the job that she has done. Not only did she allow Kim Gardner to run rampant for so long, and even though she was an elected official, Tashara let her do what she wanted to do. Over 600, it's going to be about $600,000 of money has been lost because the city of St. Louis failed to go collect their 3% tax on marijuana / cannabis sales in St. Louis City proper. They didn't file paperwork in time.
Oh my gosh.
So cannabis wins, Joe.
Wow.
Literally, the total is going to be about $448,000 to $600,000 of income, of revenue that St. Louis City was supposed to get, but they weren't ready. They overlooked it. Now, allegedly, they
overlooked it. That is awful.
Yeah, they took care of the problem last week. And remember, they promoted to voters when all of this passed that money would be used through different situations throughout St. Louis City, and that the cannabis industry would be able to produce this revenue, which could help the city. And cannabis did. People wanted it. They went and bought it. But because they didn't file paperwork in time, they were not on it. They were not responsible. They're going to lose an upwards of $600,000 of revenue for the city of St. Louis. And guess whose shoulders it falls squarely on? The mayor, Mayor Tashara Jones.
Absolutely.
And it's like, you have got to be freaking kidding me that happened. You don't see people give up $600,000. But it reminds me of the same situation we had with Kim. We had unprecedented situation in numbers of cases that were not taken care of, lawyers not showing up to prosecute crimes. And guess what? The same thing is now happening with the mayor.
Yeah. Same thing.
Reimagining policing, reimagining mayorship and how you run a city, especially for a city that needs money badly, especially for a city that still can't figure out how to spend the Rams money that was won in a settlement for St. Louis as well.
It makes you wonder if the problem isn't the actual person, but there's somebody floating around in the background who has access to these people.
Well, that's for sure. And people are saying on the chat line, Derek, to be specific, but we're getting illegals in these big cities now.
That's what they've been worried about.
Yeah.
All of the illegals coming in. And at least our friends from Greenlight benefit.
Right. Green light benefits.
Our friends from Route 66, they've got a couple stores in the city of St. Louis.
And Ham, I'm coming to see you today.
Yeah. Oh, you are? There you
Yeah.
go. Ham will be in tomorrow. Route 66 Cannabis, one of our show sponsors. We appreciate that. Well, Kevin says, but if you critique her, you're racist.
Correct.
Yeah. Our friend of the show, Jane Duker, she
Yeah.
blocked Jane because Jane calls her out.
And Jane's a Democrat.
Yeah. And Tashara will engage in Twitter wars with people, and her dad will engage in Twitter wars with people. But anyway, people around the country may not care about the plight of St. Louis, about what St. Louis has elected and why they deserve what they deserve. However, I do know a lot of people who live in the city of St. Louis who do not like Tashara Jones. And it's just sad that $600K gone just like that.
Yep.
And the marijuana companies are the ones who benefit. So anyway, a lot of stuff going on. Like I said, from the St. Louis block, the Polar Express showing you what the city, maybe it is good to see so the kids can actually see what the city of St. Louis looks like.
It's just a shame that
because it's not a great place.
See that.
St. Louis City is not a great place.
No,
it just isn't. And I wish I could say that it was. Do I feel unsafe there? No, I don't. You got to know where to go and when to go.
Exactly. You do. I will go there too, but you got to know when to go, what time to go, what places to go to. And that's where I differ. I think it's great that this is being exposed about the city on the Polar Express, but it's not for cute little Johnny that is 4 years old and thinks the North Pole looks like a shithole. Yeah. I mean, the North Pole is supposed to be magical. Instead, Johnny's going, Mommy, Santa's
the North Pole
trash.
shithole. Mom, Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas.
I mean, that is tragic, actually.
Shitter's full.
Yeah, the shitter's full in St. Louis.
It's almost that time. And then, of course, don't shoot at reporters. It's bad. It's stupid. Another bad look for the city of St. Louis.
Even if it is a pellet gun.
Even if, do you want to get shot with a pellet gun?
Not at all.
Hell no.
No, I don't want to get shot with a pellet gun.
Especially in the head, because if Andy Banker's turned around, that thing hit you in your eye. It's like a firework going off in your eye, and you'll lose that damn eye.
Man, I couldn't imagine how terrifying that was.
It had to be scary.
Yeah.
Well, then he goes on and he goes back to the spot and he actually calls these people out. So he wasn't scared that he didn't go back and show the spot where
that was dumb. They could have brought a real weapon.
I know. I don't know. Yeah. But I guess he's just a true badass reporter, I guess.
I mean, it's either badass or
Merry
stupidity.
Christmas in the Lou.
Yeah, there you go. Get on the Polar
Reporters
Express.
Getting shot in the head with pellet guns. The mayor giving $600,000 up. No, we don't need that. And we'll show you the dilapidation, the homelessness, and how bad the city looks on the Polar Express with your family.
Oh.
It's an episode of Vacation.
It really is like
just
Vacation.
Like the first one.
It totally is. When you saw the first Vacation.
The next movie is called St. Louis Vacation.
Yes.
Roll them up.
Roll them up. And the first time I watched it, I was like, you guys, that's really East St. Louis. That's not St. Louis. Well, now this many years later, 30 some odd years later.
Yeah, it's just North St. Louis.
Right. It's North St. Louis. Now it's everywhere. Now it's almost everywhere in St. Louis. Even the nicer places look like the North Pole.
Well, guys, this is cancelthisshow.com. I'm Vic Faust with Lizzie Sparks and Projo. Thank you for liking and subscribing and sharing the show. That's how we continue to get our shows out to more and more people, by you guys sharing it, letting people know, hey, check it out. You may not agree with everything. We don't agree with each other all the time, but that's why we try to do something that's real, that's honest, that's raw, that's unadulterated. You're not afraid to say what needs to be said. You're not afraid to call out things that need to be called out, because one thing we can't have in this society is cancel culture education, which we believe in many senses is going away. And when people are willing to speak up about things, and more people hear it, they're more and more willing to call the things out so that we can make our life better.
To Troy Turner's point here.
What did he say?
They haven't watched enough. It's a Christmas Story.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Cancelthisshow.com. Also, when you go to our website, you can check out several things that we have kicking there. First of all, with our advertisers and our partners, we are grateful for all of them. Ameni's in the Chesterfield Valley. If you haven't checked out the sauna and the spas right now, you can go to our website, cancelthisshow.com. All of our partners are listed there, and we have links, and that's how they know that you're going to them. Check out the links, cancelthisshow.com. We had Arash Amini on, and he was amazing last week. We're talking about bringing him in again to talk about the benefits of sauna. It's not just a luxury item from a feel-good standpoint anymore. We're talking about your health, weight loss, taking care of your heart, all kinds of situations there. Complete Auto Body Repair, the fastest growing auto service center in the region, family owned. They've been offering the complete experience since 1973. Lizzie and her family take their vehicles there. They're also looking for techs. They have 7 climate controlled locations throughout the St. Louis metropolitan area as well. Experience Realty Partners. It's pretty simple. Expect to be sold. 314-276-SOLD. 314-276-SOLD. You're not going to find a better realtor and mortgage person when it comes to Kathy and Steve. Kathy O. Big Strick, Steve Strick, especially with the times that we know that is going on right now in the real estate industry. We were talking about Hamid Hamra already, Route 66 Cannabis, and Patrick is with Ostera Brands, your fast lane to the Midwest premier cannabis shopping experience, their brand new store at Manchester and 270 in the St. Louis area. Justin Televest is rocking and rolling with Solar City STL. Once again, Solar City STL, making renewable energy part of your life. The heavy lifting being done by them. And by the way, they do their own installations, which is massive. It doesn't hurt to get a quote. Hey, can you save some money now and for the long term, especially when there's so many questions about being on the grid and getting off the grid and so forth. Strategic Air Services, which we talk about, the premier private transportation providers and everything aviation. And also, who we had yesterday, a lot of positive with Paige Measley yesterday from WeQuip USA. If you're looking to rent something that you own out, or if you're looking for an item that you may want to rent for the day, the week, the month, but you don't really need it after that. You don't want to buy it. What a cool concept Paige has put together. She's in the O'Fallon, Missouri area as well. Check it out. You can go to our website as well. We have the links for you. You can post an item. You can contact the sponsor there. And of course, Wenty's in the Chesterfield Valley, the original food shack of the Gumbo Flats, the best pizza, burgers, wings, smoked meats. They've got one of the best heated outdoor patios you're going to find, music all the time. And of course, they're hosting the Skanksgiving party Wednesday night, which is a great indoor, great outdoor. The staff takes care of you as well. All right, this is cancelthisshow.com. We get into the stories that you're just not going to see many times anywhere else, and it means a lot to us. This story pissed me off because this is what our military members are dealing with. An Air Force base in North Dakota now is warning their members. They sent a message out to all of their military members to, quote, avoid the Patriot rally with a speaker from a pro-Trump group. They literally texted their service members that if they participate, if they're there, it could jeopardize their military careers. Once again, this is the United States Air Force telling their members, pretty much, you better stay away from this rally being held in downtown of their area, because if you do, you better be careful and you may lose your opportunity to serve if you're there. And this is just called the Dakota Patriot Rally. And guess why they termed this something that you need to stay away from? Because Turning Point USA is putting it on. Turning Point Action.
Well, and our military loves organizations like the Turning Point USA. And so they know our military men and women are going to go to events like that. And the higher ups in the military are scared to death of this movement coming again.
They said that this group, Turning Point Action, of course, it's a 501c4 organization. It was founded in 2019. They have a problem with it. The Air Force Base, it's Minot, North Dakota, Minot. They have a problem because they said that the group's July 2023 action conference in Florida drew 6,000 people, and it included speaking engagements by Donald Trump and about a third of Republican presidential candidates. They're massive. That's a conservative group trying to do a rally. They have no history of causing problems, being arrested for causing problems, or initiating or encouraging any violence whatsoever. Now, the Dakota Patriot Rally speaker from Turning Point Action, their COO is Tyler Boyer. And according to the event website, they said that he's a conservative activist who's worked in several political positions before joining Turning Point USA. It is very sad that this is going on right now, because they said that they're a bad group or you need to stay away from them because they questioned the 2020 election results. Oh,
how sad.
really?
Uh-huh.
So now they're bad because they questioned and because they're a pro-America group. Are you kidding me?
That's sad. Our United States Air Force is being told not to go to a patriotic, American loving event. Let that sink in. I mean, that's the world we live in here.
Well, they
in America
tried to
right
call
now.
the group an alt-right. So here the spokesperson for the event said Turning Point Action is not alt-right. It's a mainstream conservative organization. And Tyler Boyer, who's the speaker, is not some fringe personality. He is the COO of TP Action, a Republican National Committeeman from the state of Arizona and one of the most accomplished political organizers in the country. Lastly, Mr. Boyer and attendees of this event are not confrontational to military members. They're some of the U.S. military's most ardent supporters.
Yes.
End quote. Then you also had another quote regarding this is coming from the up. I guarantee this is coming from one person or two people.
Mhm.
When you
Just
have
a few.
thousands, trying, once again, the squeaky wheel gets the oil. Most Americans do not agree what's happening to our country right now. They just don't. There is no way in hell they can. But you have people in positions of power who will try to dictate and persuade everything else that is going on in life. Quote, how dare they dissuade servicemen and women from affiliating with conservative groups and leaders? This should set off alarm bells throughout North Dakota and D.C. that something is terribly wrong at the Minot Air Force Base. This also warrants an immediate congressional hearing and investigation, and whoever is responsible should be held accountable. It's exactly this type of poison that has caused the Air Force to miss its recruiting goal for the first time in decades. And John Work has told us it's not just the Air Force, it's all branches that are missing their recruiting goals for a variety of reasons.
That is unreal. And apparently we're hearing from people on the chat line, it's Minot.
Okay, thank you so much. The Minot, North Dakota branch. The Air Force referred a Fox News digital request for comment to the Air Force Base. And of course, they have not responded.
Of course, they're not going to respond. They know they sound dumb. They know they do. And that is so sad that our military, the higher ups, have been infiltrated by these American haters. They don't love our country. They're scared to death of the Trump people coming back and taking over this country. They are just petrified.
And this comes at a time where the military is now trying to get members back who they kicked out because they wouldn't get the cupcake.
Right. They wouldn't get the cupcake. So they're down for that reason. They don't want to be in the military now under Biden. And so right now we need military. But as we kind of bantered back and forth on the show just a week ago or so, is people don't want to go in there now. And yet now the Air Force higher ups don't want American loving people. They just don't. There's not going to sugarcoat it. They don't like it.
No, they do. Jamie, I don't know why.
Trying to extend the UN.
It might be. Anthony says, how about Argentina? New president should be fun to watch. Yeah, we talked about Javier yesterday and regarding what he has going, Milei, in regards to what he's trying to do in Argentina against socialism. We showed the video yesterday regarding what's happening in Madrid, Spain, as their socialist president is forcing himself in for another 4 years. Troy says, I was in the Air Force from 1980 to 84. I'd have a hard time signing up nowadays, which is sad to think.
It really is.
I mean, this country became great as we were blessed by God from a financial standpoint, but also we had peace through might. And of course, we don't have time. We're not going to get into the whole CIA situation and what we have done in this country and other countries. But we know enough now to know that a lot of the 3-letter organizations, people at the top, are dictating a lot of things that are not only happening in this country, but in countries around the world. It's not a fun thing to talk about. It's a dark, deep, dirty secret about who we are. Yes, this country is great. Yes, this country can be great. But at the same point in time, You have military leaders and certain political
Mhm.
figures who have infiltrated this country and are trying to tear it apart from the beginning. Once again, we reminded you yesterday, the total count of Chinese nationals that came through an open border and or ports of entry just in the month of October is estimated at 7,000.
That's
Why
scary.
are Chinese nationalists
Mhm.
coming here illegally into the United States of America? Why were servicemen being forced to hold Chinese flags 2 weeks ago when Xi was here from China
Yeah,
in
that's
San
scary.
Francisco? These are the kind of things that are happening around the country. So they need to be called out. That's what we try to do here. That's what you guys try to do when you jump in from that standpoint as well. It's just a lot of really bad things happening. Now, go ahead.
You remember earlier this year when the flag was upside down in front of the Capitol?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
do.
And it
I'm
was up.
wondering if
I
there
thought it was
wasn't
a joke, but it was real.
right,
That was
right.
real.
Yeah,
Yep.
no, that was absolutely real. And you wonder too, Joe, to your point, was that some sort of a signal? Because we've learned that Joe Biden sends out little signals, or his administration, I don't think Biden does anything, that sends out things to the Mexican cartel. All of these things that they're doing is not by accident. There is themes, there is little warnings, there's little notices, and that's when the people come flooding over the border. I mean, it's not by accident. We already know that, but it can't be said enough.
We appreciate you guys jumping in as we try to follow the line as well. Aaron says another story from yesterday. I did see this. Iowa passed a law to ban DEI in Iowa colleges. I loved seeing it. Yes, there's no place for diversity, equity, and inclusion in the college scene when it comes to how it was operating before, which is very sad. Also, or the soldiers that put up the flag in the morning were sending a message. We had heard that before as well. Some Navy ships were flying the flag upside down as well. This summer, we were told that those were simple accidents. That's how the military pushed that back out to us, which makes you wonder and think about everything that's going on. Now, with as much as the bad that's happening in this country, Gene Simmons, of all people, Gene Simmons, he's speaking out. I'm not a massive Gene Simmons fan when it comes to politics.
Mhm.
I don't want to hear what he has to say. But this video of him talking is talking about the United States of America. And the reason I have an issue with it is just because Gene Simmons is the same guy who, quote, hates Donald Trump.
Correct.
He's called him an animal. He refuses to accept a man who could provide everything that he just talks about. But because of his pride, because of his liberal pride, refusing to look at that, we are stuck with that. So here's Gene Simmons with what he had to say.
Never had a bad thing happen to me. I haven't had a bad day in my life. Not since I came to the promised land. And let me tell you something, everybody points to Israel. And yes, I'm proud I'm being there. But the promised land is America. In America, Protestants and Catholics live next door to each other. In Ireland, not so good. In the Middle East, Israelis and Arabs don't get along with each other. Over here, everything's fine. The gift that America has given the world is a sort of I can't put it into words. There's a magic here that exists nowhere else in the world. I'm embarrassingly patriotic about this country. I would, see, it's starting to happen. Before we came to America, my mother and I stood in front of the American consulate. My mother was very beautiful, so he put her at the beginning of the line. I saw, you know, and so we went to the front of the line, and I was a little boy. I didn't know what was going on. And he's trying to tell her that she's been accepted to come to America. But my mother couldn't speak English, so he says, do you speak, you know, she couldn't speak English. And they're trying to connect. So they settled on, kannst du sprechen Deutsch? Ja. Ich kann sprechen Deutsch, ich habe gelernt auf der Schule. I speak some German. You have to, especially in the camps. So in broken German, he says to her, welcome, you have been accepted to the United States of America. I didn't know what America was, I'd never heard of it or anything. And he says, okay, before you come in, you have to raise your hand and swear allegiance to America. And my mother didn't know what to do, so she went like this. And sorry. saw that night, I didn't know what was going on, and my mother was rigid like that. She just wanted to come to America. I saw him coming. He got off his riser, and he came up to her, and he put her hand down, and he said, "You're never going to have to do that ever again." And I didn't understand what that was. But the magic and the blessing that is America is that, yes, even if you're the sons and daughters of Nazis, you can come here and nobody will try to kill you, and you can have all the rights and freedoms that native-born children in America have. This is the promised land.
Yeah, and they're getting a lot of them right now, that's for sure. Lizzie, you like that. You're trying to take it from a positive standpoint.
I did. I know everything about, take Gene Simmons out of the picture. Pretend it's not him. Because if you look at Gene Simmons, he is hypocritical, an oxymoron, all of those things. He says this exact thing about loving America and all of that. But then he was the first person that said during COVID that your freedom didn't matter. So
I believe his exact words were, "Fuck your rights."
Yep, there you go. That's exactly right. So at that point, so he loves America. And he says that he's never spent a bad day in America. So if you take Gene Simmons out, that's how every single one of us should feel about this country, that we are the promised land. It is not Israel. It is not whoever else you want to say it is. America is still, even though it's going down the shitter, America is the only place where a Catholic and a Protestant and a Jew and an atheist and whatever else you want to be can live next door to each other in harmony. Now they're trying to divide us by doing that because they want everyone angry. They want the Christian mad at the atheist. They want the blacks mad at the white. They want the Middle Eastern people mad at Jewish people, and so on and so forth. But if you take it how Gene Simmons said there, we should have so much patriotism and so much pride in this country that our American flag is the only thing that matters. I'm not for putting a Ukraine flag up. I'm sorry for some of those people that happen to. I'm not Jewish, so I am not going to put a flag from Israel up. We are America first. Period. The end. This
should be.
Well, we are, and we should be. We are here, but we're getting it stripped away from us little by little by little by somebody, even by Gene Simmons, who he says that, and that is wonderful. All of us should feel that way. But then don't tell us to F our rights because we disagree about the jab. And now if people is still getting in fights about that and still getting giddy about going to get the thing in your arm, wake the hell up, people.
Well,
Marxism,
Marxism,
we were played.
Socialism, dividing the country. Troy says Satan's a great divider.
Absolutely,
yes,
100%.
We have lost our way in the last 3 years, and it's because of Joe Biden. Whether it was his decision to do it all himself, whether he's compromised, whether somebody else is controlling him, whether it's the deep state that Donald Trump says does exist that's coming after him, and we have seen it. And there's a reason why Donald Trump, despite all the indictments and everything else, is dominating every single poll, whether it's a right poll, a center poll, or a left-leaning poll, because Americans do for all of the problems that we have, for all of the issues that we may have, for being selfish, for being lazy, for being stupid, having our head in the sands on many issues. We do recognize, I think, a lot of times if something isn't right, if it doesn't pass the smell test. And we have seen what's happened to this country in the last 3 years.
In the last 3 years, absolutely. And that's when it's become obvious. Prior to this, part of the deep state was George Bush. And for many of us Republicans, we voted for him, but a lot of us
But we didn't know it while it was going on.
No, we didn't. That's the point.
But now we do know.
Correct. We know. And we didn't really know exactly up until the point of Obama. Obama is where the speed up came. It was happening prior to that, but Obama sped it up and Trump put a complete halt to it. And now these last 3 years, they're speeding it up in warp speed, knowing that Donald Trump could very well come back.
Well, this was pretty interesting yesterday. This is a sum up of the last 3 years under Joe Biden. Yesterday was Joe Biden's birthday, his 81st birthday. We talked about that on the show yesterday. Well, look at the cake that he had. If there wasn't ever an example of Joe, look at him smiling.
Hail to the Supreme Lord.
Look at the cake they get.
It's like he's got a ritual going on.
Right. That looks weird.
That cake
It's on fire.
That cake is a symbol of our country.
Yeah, it is.
It is
Yeah.
on fire.
Uh-huh.
With that look, that dumbass,
Or where we're
He
headed.
is a
that
dumbass.
loser, and I call him a loser in
He is a
regards to
loser.
how he has handled every single item since he has taken office. He has lost. He has lost for this country. And then there's a cake. I mean, they can't even get the cake right.
No.
I mean, that cake is on fire.
Yeah.
We're showing our viewers to the show right now a cake. I mean, I guess when you put 81 candles on a cake, that's what's going to happen.
There's nothing
looks
but a
like
layer of wax.
a
over the top.
dumpster
Yeah, it probably tastes disgusting.
a dumpster fire.
Uh-huh.
And that's what our country is right now because of this man, with immigration, with a lack of respect for first responders, with with money being a problem, with the investment, with our dollar, with the terrible crime that's going up everywhere. There you go. What a perfect symbolization of our country.
Yeah,
And Joe Biden, a cake that looks like a campfire.
it really does.
Like a
It
dumpster
does
fire.
look like it. And you're right.
And he
Glenn.
posted it. I mean, he actually posted it.
I want to see him blow that shit out.
Right. I'm not
Oh,
sure
that
that he
ain't
has
happening.
enough wind in his lungs to
You-
do that.
You really need a fire extinguisher. I don't think anybody blew that out. They really had to use a fire extinguisher. I guarantee it.
Right. Well, and I have honestly no problem whatsoever that he's 81 years old. None. There is some people that are sharp as a tack in their 80s, like Donald Trump. My problem is that he wasn't even smart back in his 50s. So the age to me has nothing to do with that. But that cake is a symbolism of his whole
Yeah.
presidency.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to the United States of America from that standpoint.
Yeah.
It's
Lord have
absolutely terrible. Terrible, 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 terrible. I want to put that through. This is cancel this. Oh my God. Cancelthisshow.com. Glenn says, his mask is going to melt.
Yeah,
Aaron says, loaded with Adderall to keep him up. Right.
that's for sure.
Who the hell is giving Biden challenge coins? During my time at Dover Air Force Base, Biden was the governor. People that lived there absolutely loved him.
Mm-hmm.
Well, because his shtick was new. Now the shtick is old, and everybody knows and sees what he really is and what he was. There was a reason why Obama chose him, because he was a guy that could be forced to do whatever he wanted. He was a guy that would sell out. He was a guy that would give up morals for it. Hey, where's the money? As we have already seen now with what happened when he was the vice president and what Hunter was allowed to do, rather, and what's
Mhm.
going on. Look at that. Glenn says Warren Buffett's 93, sharp as a tack.
Absolutely.
He has not lived the kind of life that this guy has, and that's the problem. Anthony says, Vic, he had challenge behind him on a shelf in the background. Can you pop that picture back up when you get a chance? Somebody gave him challenge coins, is what we were told from that standpoint. Then Greg says, did you notice the coins in the background? They are military coins. Asshole is spitting in our military.
Yeah, he really is.
Explain that to me.
He really is.
I need somebody to explain that to me. Sorry, I'm slow today on Tuesday.
Well, what
Are
it
those
is
supposed to be his accolades? I mean,
well, people, okay, so it depends on, there's a lot of different conspiracy theories, or real, if you want to think about that, but he didn't really earn those coins. But when they give you those certain coins, some people say that that is literally spitting in our military's face. Now, we already know he's spitting in our military's face.
Because he didn't earn them? Is that the...
Well, that
that's
could
stolen
be.
valor if he didn't earn them.
Yeah.
It might be his son's, quite possibly too. His son was in the military.
Yes. And coins are given in honor, is what Greg is saying. I'm not saying whose coins these are. I can't see it that close. But a lot of people say that if you display them and you've had a bad experience with, like, look at our Freedom 13.
Because coins are given in honor. I did.
Correct.
Yeah, I do know
Correct.
that.
Yeah.
From military member to military member. And this guy's done more to kill our military.
Correct. And
than
Jeannie
any-
said you can buy those coins. I mean, you can. I mean, you can buy those coins. Somebody probably bought them and put them up there for him.
Oh my God. Kevin says, did you guys see that Elon Musk is suing the fake Democratic machine Media Matters? Yes, I did see this for
Yes.
creating fake Nazi accounts and pushing
Mhm.
fake Nazi hate on his platform. I hope he bankrupts them. They're causing advertisers to leave. We're going to have more on that in the coming days because it's not just that, but
yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on with that.
Truth Social is suing over 20 companies
Yes.
as well for putting out fake articles about them and fake things about Donald Trump. Yes, they will be going through. Ginny also says, I have some of those coins. Donna says, hey, when you take a look at that, is that a fake window as well? Because we already know it's interesting. He couldn't do press conferences really at the White House. There was a side stage.
All these lawsuits don't mean anything. It just means that we're going to be tied up in court while they
I
take
agree.
over
And
our
that's why I
country.
haven't jumped into it much because of what's going on.
Right.
But there have been some victories with conservatives being treated terribly or had stories written about them that were not real. So that's good. Anthony says he also has 2 challenge coins given to him. And Mary says, I think the Thanksgiving turkeys that were pardoned were named Hunter and Joe.
Yep, for
Did
sure.
it?
But
Yeah. Well, everything started happening in Israel and a shooting when that was going on. Oh, we got to have a new House Speaker. All of a sudden, when the things were heating up from the House GOP committee, led by Representative Comer, is when all of this stuff started to happen. And Derek says, it is the stage located in the Amazon studio, is it? Or the Tyler Perry studio?
Maybe he's talking about Joe Biden.
Oh, yeah, it could be.
In the kitchen. We all know he's been in studios and on green screens. I mean, they don't even hide it.
Still to come, 9 o'clock, we're going to talk with David Valentine. What is the name of the group? Because I know he has really done what he can do to bring a light to what's happening with J6,
Yes,
the videos that are being released.
It's called the Freedom Express Media. You guys do not want to miss this at 9 o'clock. For any of you, and I know a lot of people that are on here today care very much about their freedom, and they care very much about the prisoners that were there on J6. Many of the people on our chat line were either there that day, knew someone was there, and absolutely love our country. And he's going to come on here, and he produces Freedom Express Media, who does the vigils each night for the J6 prisoners, and they pray. And I don't want to take the thunder away from what he's going to say, but it's very interesting. And he was going to come up and talk.
Yeah, we'll talk to them. Lara Logan also started to put out some videos on Ray Epps regarding his role. And is it Jim Hoft with Gateway Pundit, who does a terrific job? He was interviewed in this piece by Lara Logan regarding J6 and Ray Epps' role, which we've really focused on a lot here. A lot of other people weren't talking about Ray Epps. We've been talking about Ray Epps for quite some time.
Correct.
Here, and his role. And he settled with a misdemeanor. I think it was back in the spring. And he got out while other people that he told to do things, while he was definitely an instigator in that whole situation, are still in prison, and young people still in prison. We'll get into that. This may piss you off and not be surprised, but an Epstein victim, a woman who testified against Epstein or, his crew, she died. And I knew about her dying before, but now the autopsy's being done. They're calling it an accidental overdose. There was no funeral arrangements put out, no obituary. We'll get into that as well. Also, coming up, the Arizona Attorney General is telling people across the state there will be no counting of ballots manually. It's all going to be computer. No hand counts, no paper counts by people. We're going to get into that entire situation. And it's all because Republicans do not trust the machines. All the Democrats want machines. There's a reason. And guess what? It's divided between Republicans and Democrats. Democrats are now trying to say that if you manually count the votes, they're going to be dirty votes. They're not going to. So now they're turning that argument back on to people. So we'll get into that as well. But I wanted to, before we get to our guest at 9 o'clock, here's some good news. This makes me think that there is hope for the world. And who would have ever thought it would come out of the Miss Universe pageant, where we were told that trans people were trying to compete now, but we had an amazing thing happen, in my humble opinion. And just look at the picture of this beautiful woman, Shaynis, Sheynnnis Palacios. She's from Nicaragua, the first woman to win Miss Universe from Nicaragua. It's it was a remarkable event. It marked the country's first win and Nicaragua's debut win in any of the big 4 international competitions. Well, what was no, that's the wrong picture, bud.
Sorry, I don't know
Oh.
who that is. It wasn't labeled.
No, okay. No. It's labeled Miss Universe. Yes.
There we go.
This gives me hope.
Mm-hmm.
Shanice,
Beautiful.
a devout Catholic, she wore a very modest dress. This is what she won in.
Mm-hmm. It's beautiful.
And she said she was taking her dress idea from the Blessed Mother, the Virgin Mary, Mother of Jesus, the only human ever to live without sin. And she took her dress idea for Mary, and she wins Miss Universe. When I saw that story come out yesterday, it gave me chills. And I went, my God, there is hope for the world, even if it's in the sign of this, but to look.
Mm-hmm.
And then she spoke publicly about it, saying, whether I win or not, it doesn't matter. I wanted to pay tribute to our Blessed Mother. And being a female, Lizzie, I would think that would have to motivate and inspire
100%.
you, especially seeing these competitions over the years, to come out and do that. As we look at that picture, I'm like, wow.
She's just gorgeous. And in this day and age that people like Cardi B and Rihanna and all that are, just, I say they're exploited, but our kids see that.
Well, Cardi B's waking up.
Yes, we talked about that yesterday.
Yeah,
She still says disgusting music, but she is waking up, and I am happy about that. But this lady is so lovely, and who better to dress
Can we pop that
than
back
Jesus's mama?
Can we pop that back up, Joe, when you get a chance, please? I appreciate it, buddy. Because you just don't hear. First of all, would it put you in a position to win a competition like that?
Now, you wouldn't think so. I mean, actually, you would hope so. But with our society over the last 20, 30 years, you would not think that. And she's just lovely. There's absolutely no dispute. There's no dispute. She's lovely.
And to be the country's first ever winner, humble, beautiful, Shanice Palacios. And I think she did an incredible job.
She sure did.
Putting that together to go ahead and do that. And of course, Annette says she is gorgeous. Looking at the pictures, Mary says, so many people try to dress sexy. It looks ridiculous at times, especially with the old peeps. Aaron says, glad to see an actual woman win, even though I completely disagree with Catholicism and the worship of Mary. Well, Aaron, that's because you don't understand. And I could help you off air. It's not a worship of Mary in the Catholic faith, although there's a lot of people who are uneducated who would think that. And I would understand why you would think that if you didn't spend time studying it. Glenn says Trump used to run Miss Universe.
He sure did.
Donna says, wow, that's lovely. Trying to make sure that we got all the and then Anthony said, yes. And we're starting to see this too, guys. I heard a couple of countries in Central and South America are slowly turning away from socialism. So many times we have to talk about bad things. So many times we have to talk about negative stories. So there is some positive. There is some light in the darkness when you see Shanice Palacios actually win Miss Universe wearing a Blessed Mother Mary dress. I'm like, oh my God, there is hope for this world.
Absolutely.
At the same point in time, when Rio de Janeiro puts a light image up on Christ the Redeemer statue of Taylor Swift when she was there to do her concert this last week.
Did you see that article where they were having extreme temperatures in Rio and it delayed her concert or something like that?
It's on fire.
I wonder why it's getting warm in Rio.
It got really warm there. No shocker there. Oh.
That is funny. Oh my gosh. Those are the kind of things that happen. By the way, this is cancelthisshow.com. Once again, we thank all of our partners, Amini's in the Chesterfield Valley, the leading supplier in traditional and infrared saunas and saltwater hot tubs. He came in last week, Arash Amini, to explain that. Check him out, get a sponsor, or you can check out their sponsor. You can shop now on the website, cancelthisshow.com. You can get a quote. He said, go in there, try him out. The health benefits are absolutely amazing. Complete auto body repair in the St. Louis metropolitan area. Anything on your car, A to Z. When it comes to experienced real estate partners, nobody's better than Experienced Real Estate. That is Kathy Hobig Strick, Steve Strick, 314-276-SOLD, 314-276-SOLD. Our sponsors, our partners will give you free quotes. They'll walk you through things. There's no strings attached. Route 66 Cannabis will give you a discount on your first order as well. You can check them out. Your fast lane to the Midwest premier cannabis shopping experience, Solar City STL. They're blowing up all over the place, no pun intended, when it comes to their business, because so many people are wanting to get off the grid. They're seeing the value in solar, especially when you have the warranties that they have. And of course, if you're using enough energy, it makes sense. And of course, it's finance, all the financing that are available. We broadcast live from Strategic Air Services in the Chesterfield Valley, premier private transportation providers in all things aviation. And by the way, they're always looking for pilots. Just a wonderful company to work for. WeQuip, a person-to-person, peer-to-peer marketplace where renters go to search for items they need. We have a list up. If you go to our website, canceltheshow.com, you literally can post an item that you want to rent right from a link on our website. We make it as easy as possible. And of course, Wenty's in the Chesterfield Valley. Some of the best food that you're going to find, entertainment, music, heated patio. And we have a party coming up December 7th that we invite everybody out to as well. 7 o'clock, December 7th. On a Thursday evening, we'll do our 1-year anniversary of this show already, if you can believe that, / holiday party. Okay, there we go. Looking forward to do everything we can there. Okay, it is cancelthisshow.com. I'm Vic Faust with Lizzie Sparks, Pro Joe in the house as well. Very excited when it comes from the standpoint of our next guest, David Valentine, and everything that he does. David, welcome into the show, my friend. When Lizzie told me that you do basic vigils and prayers and just an honoring of not forgetting those who were put away because of their actions in J6, it blew me away. We welcome you into the show. If you could tell us a little bit about yourself and your organization.
Well, first off, thanks for having me. I appreciate the opportunity. So basically, I basically started Freedom Express Media about a year and a half ago or so. Was actually in DC. I'm from Ohio, but I came to DC. We had a protest on that point. I found out that Ashley Babbitt's mom, Mickey Whithoff, had started a vigil outside the DC jail every night, and I was live streaming. So I thought, well, this is the perfect opportunity for me because I was at J6. I feel for the guys. I want to get their messages out. I want to let people know exactly what all's going on, and we've been doing this vigil every night since the 1st of August of 2022. So it's been going on for quite some time. We've done a lot of work. We go in and watch the J6 court hearings and a lot of the congressional hearings that are going on with the weaponization against the American people. A lot of stuff has been done. So we just try to stay active, keep getting the word out, and that's what we're trying to do.
We're talking with David Valentine. What kind of impact do you think that you're able to make right now, albeit for those people, the families, or those people who are sympathizers of what happened and the setup that took place?
Well, I know that with our call to actions through our live streams, we have several live streamers there on the corner every night. We put out call to actions, and there was a northern neck that the guys were in, and there was some terrible abuses going on there. We had actually, this has been several months ago, but they actually pulled all of the J6ers out of that jail because the attention that we were bringing to that jail. So that, and in January this past year, the guys had no visitation with their families or anything, and we were going to the congressman, making appointments, all that sort of stuff. Mickey Whithoff, Ashley Babbitt's mom, has been a great advocate for these guys, and with going and making these appointments, Troy Nels actually went and visited in January, and after that visit, they immediately started the guys' visitation. So there's been a lot that's come out of the work that we've done and being there, and Matt Gaetz has come down to the corner. So I know they're paying attention to us, and I believe that our advocating for them has paid off.
So, David, where are they now? You said that they were in one jail, and then due to the attention on them, they moved them. So where are they exactly, the prisoners?
Actually, there's about 35 in the DC jail. There was a few in the Northern Neck. They moved them all out, and there are actually 220 throughout the country. So there are actually J6ers throughout the country. There's about 220. I know that the impact on our actions. Our people are great.
David, I appreciate you joining us today. Hopefully, I don't know if you can we try to get David to close out and come back in? Would that make a difference? We could try to do that, David. We're having problems on our end where we can't hear you. You're breaking up.
Yeah, you're coming up jumbled.
It's almost as if they got
your signal
as if they put you in a jail cell, unfortunately, as well for sticking up for J6.
I'm showing that your signal is dipping down on this end. So
yeah, those things happen when we talk to people when it comes to bringing people in live. We could try to do this again. And I wanted to ask you a question. If you can hear us and we can hear you, we'll try it. If it works, great. If it doesn't, we'll just move on. Glenn wants to know, are most of these prisoners, in quotes, so to speak, in solitary confinement?
Most of the ones here in the DC Gulag are in a pod together. They keep them together, but there are a few that are in solitary confinement, but not all of them are. There was for a long time in their own solitary confinement. They were only allowed out for an hour at a time, an hour each day. But right now, that is not the case. Some of them are across the country in different places, but not in the Gulag at the moment.
I'm curious how much you follow this situation. I brought his name up earlier, Ray Epps, and the reason I bring up Ray Epps is because of the people who have been prosecuted and put in jail, including Owen Schroyer, who never even walked into the Capitol. I'm curious. Ray Epps yesterday started to get a lot of hype again because Lara Logan is putting out a big series on Ray Epps, the mastermind behind January 6th, with all kinds of video that I watched myself yesterday. Video of him enticing, trying to agitate, telling people what to do, creating problems, pushing things through. And somehow, some way, he got off with a misdemeanor back in the spring. Yet, if anybody should be in a jail for anything, it should be Ray Epps.
I completely agree with you. I watched that yesterday also myself. I think she's bringing into what Ray Epps was involved in. He was involved in every breach that took place. So whisper into the officers, and then all of a sudden, they went through. So there was definitely some coordination there between the guys and between Epps and officers. So.
And the reason that we bring up Ray Epps is the fact, was he a government employee? Is he a plant? Is he a federal agent? Those sorts of things. David, we're having massive problems with your sound. We appreciate you jumping in and joining us today. If you can try to reestablish and come back in, if there was better internet, we could bring you in. But right now, it's just not working, unfortunately, my friend. I am so sorry because we appreciate you and what you do with Freedom Express Media. We know that you can hear us. And of course, I know Lizzie wanted to say something to you before we let you go as well for everything that you do.
Well, and you had sent us some videos. So is there a video that you would like us to play in particular? Because I know that we have 3 clips. Is there one in particular you want us to play right now?
If anything, I would really like maybe the national anthem we do at 9:00 with the guys. That's really important. We'd like people all across the country to join us at 9:00 to sing the national anthem with them.
And that's 9:00 Eastern time every night, correct? 9 p.m.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So, Joe, if you could pull that up.
Yeah, we'll pull that up too. The connection is going a little bit better right now. David, so are you based in DC then?
Yeah, I stay in DC. I'm actually live in Ohio, but yeah, me and another live streamer, we kind of camp around and we hang around DC just to be able to be here for the vigil.
I'm not sure which clip that would be. There's 2 where there's a lady that standing behind some signs that says Jesus is Lord, and then there's another one that it doesn't look like it. I don't know where the one is.
Just go ahead and play it because you and I looked at them all. Just Pick one.
Okay.
Okay, there you go. That's good.
I mean, it is coming, and then people are, like we were talking about earlier, when we first got to D.C., we were told that January 6th was a political football nobody was going to touch, and now people are touching it, and I think that, it's slow progress, and that is, the will of the American people, and we absolutely have to keep pressure on our congressional members to let them know their constituents care about this. So, that's we're out there, we're pounding on doors, and so are so many of American people. Out here on the corner, there's probably maybe about 15, 20 of us, but on live stream, we have people that answer calls to action every single day, every single night, and it is an action of we the people being the people for, just to keep pushing forward for the release of this video.
Absolutely, and I like what you said about, because when it first came out, it definitely was something no one wanted to touch. And I remember everyone, especially people like, who's that rhino? Oh, what's his name?
Yeah, I don't know. There's so many to pick from.
You can probably cut that right here.
Yeah.
David, do you want to tell us a little bit about of who that is and what's going on right there?
So that is actually Ashley Babbitt's mom. That's Mickey Whithoff. She's been out here on the corner for over a year advocating for these guys. She believes that if Ashley was alive, that she would be out here on the corner. So that's why she's been out here doing this. And she's a very strong advocate for these guys and to get justice for these guys.
Yeah.
And that's in D.C. near the Capitol?
Yeah, that's actually outside the D.C. jail.
Okay.
And is she still there? Because from what I understand, Mickey has been there day in and day out and day in for over a year now. Is that true?
Yes, that's since August 1st of last year. She's been out there.
Yeah, good for her, because what has happened, and one of the things I wanted to say, because occasionally some people on the chat line will say to me that was all a show. Ashley was not really killed that day, that they just made it look like that, and Donald Trump is dead, and all of this sort of stuff. And there are some good patriots that have told me that Donald Trump is dead, Ashley really wasn't killed. But I know many people, including yourself, that have seen Mickey, know Mickey, have gone out to see Mickey, and Mickey is dead. They killed her. The Capitol Police killed her. Am I not correct on that?
Yes, Ashley is gone. I've seen the pain in Mickey's eyes for over a year, and it's unfortunate that those propaganda videos were put out, and it's really a shame that people are actually believing that. Ashley's gone, and Mickey's out there on the corner every night because of it, trying to advocate for these guys. So.
Well, before you leave, then we'll go ahead and play the national anthem for the J6ers in prison right now, as you asked us to do, as we play that video, as long as we have it. I don't know if we have that video or not.
I really can't find it.
Okay, then that's fine. We don't have it, and then
there's a Ray Epps clip.
It's all good. No,
okay.
it's all good. David, thank you so much for joining us today, and we appreciate and we pray for what you're trying to do.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Please keep us posted on everything else that's going on with your Freedom Express media as well. And if there's anything that we can help with, and or if you have any story ideas, we'd love to get your word back out to as many people as possible, as we do every day.
Thank you, David. And
thank you so much.
And our listeners, when you, after the show, you can actually go find out all of the clips that he had sent here, and you can go to Freedom Express Media, and it has the vigils there, and you can do that on your own time. It has the vigils, it has the national anthem, it has all of that, because it seems like whenever we have somebody from DC, I don't think this is a coincidence, they're often scrambled. We have Chanel, it was scrambled. It makes you wonder. I mean, and I do know there's blockers there. When I went to the inauguration and we were there, we couldn't always get things out at that point either. So it's really hard. That video that you're showing right there, Joe, is simply that Donald Trump was there. He agrees with them holding the vigil, and he actually signed a hat for David Valentine.
That's really nice. I love seeing that video as we talk about it. And I'm telling you, it certainly makes us wonder after doing this. Now, people in podcasting have technical issues. It happens everywhere. Joe Rogan, millions and millions of followers. Guess what? It happens. Those things happen. But what makes me really wonder, I'm not trying to create some kind of controversy or create a conspiracy theory, but every single time we talk with somebody of a patriotic standpoint from DC, there is an issue with the signal.
Yes.
Is it just because it's bad internet? I doubt it, especially when these people say that Well, here's the kind of we deal with this whenever we talk about certain items, and we've been scrambled, or we'll have
Yes.
certain things that'll happen.
Mhm.
Chanel, our friend, talked about it when she would join us as we were just discussing, and then of course it happened with David. It also happened with one other person. I can't remember who it is right now, but
And what's
we
funny
deal with
is
that.
I have a little indicator on
Mhm.
my end that looks like it shows your signal strength on your cell phone.
Yeah.
It's the same kind of little graph. And I sit here and I can watch it as he's talking dip down,
Mhm.
and then it comes back up when he stops talking.
Yeah. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
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 I think there's no, in life, there really is no coincidences. So that maybe they do it for security, but I think at maybe one point they did it for security. But now we know that the mainstream media, the deep state, the uniparty, they don't want things out. And they specifically don't want it out about J6. But I think if we wanted anything to get out about this is J6 has not been forgotten. The prisoners have not been forgotten. There's people like David Valentine that are fighting every day to dispel the rumor that I see sometimes here. Ashley Babbitt was definitely dead. She was not a plant to make it look like that Trump supporters
Well,
are
yeah, Michael
crazy.
Bird shot her.
But we have
fearing
people
for
even
his-
on our chat line say she's
fearing
not
for his
dead.
life, allegedly.
Correct. But she
No.
absolutely is dead.
Absolutely,
I'm going to dispel in the same thing. Donald Trump is still alive. I have people in the chat that say he's dead. I know people that know him very well. He is not dead. And I think a lot
Is
of
Joe Biden alive? Hell yes, because nobody could be.
Unfortunately, Joe Biden's alive.
Well,
Dear
I mean,
God.
I don't
4 or
wish bad. I
5
don't wish
versions.
bad on him. I just wish him away. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Just get out of DC. Leave. I know he's alive because there's no way you could have an imposter be that stupid, that cognitive challenged.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, they have clones for all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like Jeannie's saying, it's heartless to say she's not dead. And the reason why I keep bringing this up is it's people that seemingly are good patriots. No, we have good patriots, good conservatives that have gone down this fake rabbit hole. Now, is there rabbit holes that are real? Honest to God, there is. There's so much deep stuff. But then people so much wanted Donald Trump as the president, and they so much wanted J6 to be able to overturn the election, or at least just get to be heard, that they make up stories in their head that Ashley really didn't die and Donald Trump is the clone.
It's not even worth talking about.
Well, I'm just bringing it up because it was on the chat line
She died
quite a bit today.
She died. It's
yeah, she's not alive.
Yeah.
She's not alive.
This is a great question, and I don't know who this question was referred to, but I've asked this before. Patriot sounds like such a great word. What is a good patriot?
Yeah. Okay. This is we were asked this.
I asked.
I know what a good patriot is. Want me to tell you what a good patriot is? A patriot is someone in the country in which you live in. In this case, it's America, and you want that country to be first. First, you don't put Israel first. You don't put Ukraine. We don't put anywhere else. We don't put Europe. We want our country to be first and be as strong as it can be. Now, patriots are going to have differences. We're going to disagree maybe on religion. We're going to disagree on how we get there.
Because you're human.
And God made us that way. We're human. But a patriot is basically just putting your country first. And you want to pick the candidate that loves your country first. You're not going to agree with everything with every other patriot or any candidate, but it's really not that hard. And some people think a patriot is somebody that's been in the military or somebody that actually fought on the battle lines. Now, that is an awesome patriot, but you can be a patriot by using your voice, getting on the internet.
Patriots
voting.
Rise, America first.
You betcha. It's America first.
You can be a
country
patriot
first.
You can be a patriot just by flying the flag.
You can. Absolutely. You know that there's a patriot that lives there if you have the flag up. You know there is. They're not always the way we want to think. They're not always.
Damn, patriot may be just being a legal citizen pretty soon.
Gosh, isn't that the truth?
As sad as things have gotten.
Yeah.
Hey, you want to talk about having things, having issues, having sound scrambled, content scrambled. The Epstein story should never go away either. There are so many stories that we try to bring and things that can't go. Just remember, Donald Trump has been indicted several times before anybody of the client list has been brought forward, before the client list has been made public, before you have a woman sitting in jail, but yet none. So it's admitted that she was helping men do this to boys and girls.
You betcha.
Women do this to boys and girls. Yet she's in jail, and the Epstein list and all these people, not one indictment yet. Think about that. Once again, Americans just want to go on with their happy, comfortable. Oh, we don't want to ruffle any feathers. We don't want to say anything. Oh, no, we just like our life the way it is. And then you have all this crap that continues to happen. Well, an Epstein victim who testified against Ghislaine Maxwell was found dead. This happened some time ago. We talked about it. The media was silent. The media refused to talk about it. National, local, even local where it occurred. Her name is Carolyn Andriano, and we show you her pictures. Carolyn, a key witness in the case against Jeffrey Epstein, and you'll remember some of these pictures, I'm sure, if you were following the case. She testified in the case against Epstein's associate Maxwell. Well, she passed away. Well, it happened earlier in the year, but the thing that's fascinating about this story, outside of the fact that she did testify, is the fact that even though her death occurred early in the year, it wasn't marked by any obituary or funeral service.
That is
okay. That's Carolyn Andriano. We'll keep her picture up here. The upper left picture is the one that got a lot of play because of Maxwell in the background. Okay. So following her death, an investigation was launched by the West Palm Beach, Florida police. So certainly you would think that something would come out of it. But then you had a police spokesman, Mike Jackless, Jachles, said that the investigation, and he said this recently, it's nearing its end, and that her death was the result of an accidental overdose. Now, are we really going to believe this? No obituary, no funeral. Oh, she overdosed accidentally, and it's taken forever to get something that would have been very, very, very easy to do very quickly. But once again, she testified. And if she died that quickly and then no word was brought forward, yeah. If something came forward, then you'd have more attention. And then on top of it all, once again, the Epstein list still not released anywhere, despite UFC fighters, despite actors, despite some musicians begging for it to be listed. No indictments, yet Donald Trump is being indicted. People, wake up. There is a lot to see here.
There really is. And a lot of people on the chat line are calling bull. And it is bull. I mean, what do you mean? Like, she just... no funeral, no nothing. And you wonder why the family doesn't say something other than the fact, they were threatened.
I don't know if she has a family.
Well, she's got to have somebody, a mom,
I
dad,
think
a brother,
I think
a
that
sister.
some of the girls that ended up on that island were orphans.
Yeah, good point. Yeah. No, you're right, because
they're probably sex trafficked from,
Yes, you're right, because that's why they pick them. They're easier prey if you're an orphan or you don't have many families. So you're right. You're absolutely right. She probably doesn't.
Jeannie says she was probably harassed to death. Very odd on all of this situation. What I don't get is the fact that, media won't cover anything. And who's in charge of this? Why isn't there a list being brought forward? Even to this day, November 2023, and you have Maxwell sitting in jail, if she's really in jail.
Yeah, we don't even know if she's in jail.
She's probably back on the island.
I mean,
probably is.
Trafficking kids.
Where is, and rumors have alleged that both Republicans, Democrats, all kinds of people involved when it comes to this situation. This is one of the ones, to me, this blows away who killed John F. Kennedy.
Oh, blows it away.
Because of the day that we're in, nothing sealed, just a refusal to release a list, a refusal to get in deep with it, because it hits at the highest levels of our government, of our politicians, of actors, you name it. Why?
I would be willing to bet.
In the year of Sound of
on
Freedom, why can't we get more information?
Right.
And nobody pushes.
No, they don't.
The media doesn't push.
Yeah. Well, and have you seen the list, Joe? Have you actually seen it?
Well, I mean, I don't know how I would have if nobody else has seen it.
Well,
No, there's
the
been
list,
you mean the flight logs?
Oh, okay.
yeah, the flight logs, and the list has been going around, and there's actually a list. Now, I don't know because the source isn't always backed up on where it is. But the list, if it is true, and gosh, you really think it is both parties, like you said. It is high up people. Bill Clinton is all over it. A lot of Hollywood stars, and Obama's on that list. And when you look at the list that is circulating around, and it's been circulating for well over a couple years, it all kind of makes sense because those are the people that are pushing the hardest, that they hate Donald Trump, that they hate him. Because I think he knows.
And if Trump was on the list,
he's not on the list.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, if he were on a list, it would be broadcast everywhere.
100%. 100%. And ironically, he's not on the list. They tried to tie him in this because Epstein came, to his club.
And because there was a picture of them together.
Correct. Well, there's a lot of pictures. Think of the people that we've had pictures taken with that we now would be like, yeah, not so much. But once he found out, then he didn't allow him back in his club anymore. He kicked him out and didn't let him back in. So, but it was that one picture. And you're right, Joe. They tried to make that tied in. One picture doesn't do anything.
And I think Trump he definitely knows something because he's been in that circle with those people. So he knows people who have went there. I'm sure. I mean,
Yeah. And Bill Gates is definitely on that list. And Bill Gates, I'm going to call him BG because we probably don't want to say his name, but he's just so bad and he's so deep into all this. And there's been video, and it's been played on the show before. His wife, Melinda, knows all about that.
But this woman wasn't the first one who testified or had claimed to die in mysterious circumstances.
Correct.
And she was found unresponsive, not in her home, but in a West Palm Beach hotel.
Somebody needs to protect all the people who are testifying, but they're not.
Right. They're not. They're afraid to do it. They're afraid because they know what's going to happen. And you figure, just imagine if you were on that island as one of those little girls or those teenagers or whatever, they saw with their very own eyes what tragedy went on there.
Well, the other thing that was interesting is that she also, because you ask about family, she was 36 years old, had a husband, 5 kids, and was getting ready to move to a brand new house. Yet there was no obituary or funeral situation put out there. No arrangements. And she died on May 23rd, yet nothing. And then all the coverage starts to come out yesterday. And it came out because the police chief or the spokesman said, well, it was a cause of death. So it takes, are you telling me, the end of May, June, July, August, September, October, getting into November, over 6 months or at 6 months to determine a cause of death? And then you're going to say, well, accidental overdose?
Yeah, that's really fishy.
These are the stories that need to be told. These are the stories. But once again, I don't know if any of us would know. How would you put pressure on somebody to get Epstein's list out there? How would you do something like that? And who's going to do it?
Yeah, they don't, because it was up for a while, and now you can still kind of find it, but it doesn't say where the source of it came from. That's the problem.
Well, you got to figure out who's got the list,
right?
And who's
Yeah. Whoever has the list really has it, has not really come out. Yeah, okay, some lists circulated, but we need somebody to come out and actually say it, that actually maybe was not a victim. Maybe they were somebody that did it.
But once again, none of the clients have gone to jail. Not one has been indicted except the female, Maxwell, taking the fall.
I remember a story, and it was earlier this year, of some place that caught fire. There was a massive fire in some place that holds records, and apparently the list was in that fire. It wouldn't surprise me, but
I've heard that too.
Yeah, I don't know,
but years later, let's just say something nefarious happened. Why years later? Because could something come back on them? Could she still be able to say something years later? I guess she could.
I would hope so. With something like that, I would hope there's no statute of
testified.
limitations on violent crime or something like
in
that.
some places. And what's interesting about that is
She had also said that she had made tapes of things when she testified as well.
Yeah. Well, I would love to know where those tapes are.
Right.
I'd love to know where those tapes are. But how do you get convicted of a crime and there's no perpetrators and there's no victims? I mean, nobody's going to push it, but that's the problem. That's another deep state problem. They're so involved in this sex and human trafficking. It's not even funny. Hollywood, the politicians, all of them are all in one big cahoots with this. It's disgusting.
Aaron says, and I've heard this before, Julian Assange has the list. He releases it.
Mm-hmm.
That's why both political parties won't pardon him.
I'm sure that's true.
Because it goes high and deep, and it'd shock you if you actually saw some of those things that were going on. Kathy says you need to have Whitney Webb on your show. She is an expert on this subject. Kathy, feel free to let me know if there's a way to contact her, and I definitely will. You might have recommended her in the past as well.
Now, I'm wondering, with some of the Republicans that are crossing the aisle, I'm wondering if maybe some of them.
What do you mean? What do you mean crossing the aisle?
Well, there's some that are. Yeah, there's some that are
eight
voting
last week that kind of showed that they're not really Republicans because they refused.
So I'm wondering if might be some Republicans
impeach
on that
Mayorkas.
list.
Oh, there's definitely Republicans on that list for sure. The Bushes are all involved in that kind of stuff for sure. And they're like, we're just the beloved Bushes. And yeah, they were totally involved.
It's just 6 months later, we're going to say how she died.
Yeah.
Come on.
We can figure out who's on that list just by, at least on the Republican side, just by what we just discussed.
Yeah, you can kind of figure it out.
And if you follow stories, it just seems as if people that shouldn't die of mysterious circumstances die at hotels.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, isn't that interesting? In hotels, it's all
or that's
hotels.
where they're found.
Right.
And those situations going on.
It's where most people died in a James Bond movie.
Hotels?
Yeah. Or at least that's when,
I don't know. It just all seems so damn convenient, and it's sad and frustrating and makes you angry if you have a heart and a soul to see what's happening to people in this country. And that is going on while Donald Trump deals with the craziness that he's having to deal with. And the media refuses to cover the things that need to be covered. It's just sickening. This is cancelthisshow.com. We'll see if anything else comes from that. I'm Vic Faust with Lizzie Sparks, Projo in the house as well. That's why we had to show a little positive earlier, because another story that needs to be talked about. But if you think this election is going to be fair, and that's why not only have I said that from May that Joe Biden, I still don't think there's any way Joe Biden would run for president, because nobody believes he could win even.
But he's not going to back down. He's going to stay there till they take him out and drag him out.
Well, I know there's still a lot of time, but I've also said at the same point in time, I don't see any way Donald Trump wins the election, because I do believe in a deep state. I do believe when Donald Trump says there's a deep state trying to do everything they can to keep him out. And despite polling being the way that it is, I don't trust elections with mail-in balloting, and we have talked about this before. Well, now, as we already saw what happened to Kerry Lake in Arizona and what happened with a strong conservative county, their voting machines not working, votes not getting tabulated, barely losing an election to a Democratic governor who certified her own election and didn't get all the votes for Maricopa County, which was a highly Republican area, which would have put Kerry Lake over the top in a hotly contested election. So we tell you those things to show you the facts. Now you had yesterday, and this is another crazy situation going on. I believe this is in Mojave County, Arizona. You have the Attorney General, Chris Mays. Guess what party she's from? The Democrats. She sent a letter out to all 15 Arizona counties stating that anybody in the county has no authority under state law to ever count any ballots by hand in future elections. Once again, all tabulated by a machine. Nobody will ever count votes again by hand. She's warning that GOP-led efforts to count ballots by hand would be illegal. And it's interesting, the timing of this, because of what's going on. You now have Republican senators in the state who've recently traveled to multiple counties in an effort to try to get local supervisors to count ballots by hand rather than machine. they're stating machines have already proven to be poor, that they can be manipulated, that the machines can be an issue, or the software that's used in machines can be infiltrated and then, of course, used for devious purposes. Well, as they were doing this and trying to go around, the attorney general jumped in and said, we're not going to do this. The attorney general came out and said that resolution 1037 is merely a resolution. It's not a bill, and it was not presented to or signed by the governor. Accordingly, it is not binding authority, or your county has no ability to go ahead and force this, because the Republican senators who have been traveling around said that they had legislation where people should be able to, or counties should be able to count by hand. So now you have the Republicans who are stating, and not just in Arizona, but states all across the country, that counting by machine is going to be a problem. It can be manipulated via the
100%.
software.
Yeah.
And then now you have the Democrats who are saying, no, GOP people, if you count by hand, you can manipulate it by hand. We have to go to a machine. So they have now flipped the script on the Republicans, stating, well, you could cheat.
Right. Well, of course they're going to flip it, and because it's been proven when the 2020 election happened, so many cities all over the United States, including the county of St. Charles County, which is a very red county, it was proven that their machines malfunctioned, but then they really didn't malfunction. They were purposely changed to change elections. And so that is definitely going to happen. So once it got found out that the Republicans knew that the Democrats were doing that, they have to flip the script then.
Robert says, I've heard from casino people that someone probably died in every casino hotel room. They have an agreement to pronounce that death only at the hospital. Interesting. That goes back to that story. I wanted to get that in because as I was reading, I looked up. Todd says, regarding the voting and the machines, it's like Quick Trip, putting computers on the coffee machines. Now they don't work. Paper only.
Got to do paper. Got to do it. And it's even when you vote with the
Kevin
paper
says
and
this
the
is
marker.
what communism looks like.
Yeah, it's getting close, isn't it?
Is it me, or does it seem like the Republican Party is relying on the court system in order to claim the United States? I don't think that's.
But you have to do. How are you not going to use law to do things? I don't. Then it's civil war, and then maybe the civil war happens. I mean, how else are you going to do it?
Well, because they're clearly not even following any kind of legal standards whatsoever. They're just doing whatever they want, and then the court is just wasting our damn time.
That is very true with the Democrats. What you said is what most people are thinking, Joe. Democrats cheat, lie. They don't follow the rules. They don't follow the law. They don't do any of that.
They're just doing whatever
they want to do.
The court system is just delaying everything, and they're just doing whatever they want while the court system just says, you know what, let's just take a little while longer and let them do more.
That is exactly right. And Republicans are trying to do things legally and the way our founding fathers set them up. And I'm not saying that they should do anything different, but we have to change the legislation. And here we are. And the Democrats just cheat and cheat and cheat. And
what cheating though? What has been proven from a cheating side?
Okay, well, there's been video after video after video of.
Oh, you mean the 2020 election?
Yeah, but even elections that are their machines. So I got very involved after the 2020 election and went to a lot of different places where people were saying there was election fraud. Then there would be a Republican and a Democrat that would sit at these meetings and sit at these things and go, yep, watch. And it would show us how they could rig election and flip it. And it's been going on for years. It's not just 2020. They just did it bigger and badder in 2020 because they let it slip in 2016. They thought Hillary Clinton for sure was going to win. And that's why there was the screaming and the gnashing of teeth and all of that, because they didn't cheat enough. And so Donald Trump won. So they had to cheat bigly and huge in the 2020 election by stuffing and all that. And they did it all over our country, but they've been doing it subtly for a decade, probably more.
Gosh, I was just going through trying to look at all the states that were won. Again, as I said, mail-in balloting, Joe Biden winning every state with mail-in balloting, Donald Trump winning every state with walk-up voting. And then you look at the swing states and what happened. How in the hell does a Democrat, Joe Biden, win every single state in the country. Every single state.
Everyone. Mm-hmm.
Where if you only looked at mail-in balloting.
Correct.
And then Donald Trump even wins all the liberal states if it's just walk-up ballot, walk-up voting. Man, that is the stat of all stats.
Right.
To look at when it comes to elections.
It's so obvious.
Which is why I don't trust anything about any software using. Of course, we get into the old issues, and we saw Fox get sued by Dominion because they were blaming Dominion, but then Dominion was also in Venezuela.
Correct. Venezuela.
They were in Venezuela. Then Fox said what they said about Dominion. Then they get sued, and then they lose their ass off. And then people are like, wait a second, but software issues can cause so many damn problems.
You guys remember when the World Klaus Schwab was talking about the great hack?
Yes,
like there's going to be our system is going to get hacked in the future.
I don't. When did he say this? I don't know what you're talking about.
There's a speech. There's one of the. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure I could probably search for it, but he talks about how that there's going to be just like they're talking about in the next pandemic and all this, he's talking about that the system's going to get hacked, and we're going to be without internet for probably about a month.
And the World Economic Forum, if you follow Charles Schwab or any of that, they tell you what they're going to do.
Right. They're literally telling you the playbook before it happens. It's almost like there's some sort of unwritten rule that they have to talk about what they're going to do before they do it.
It's like they're laughing and thumbing their noses at us like, this is what could happen, and this is what we're going to do to you little peons. And that's what they think of us. They're the elitists, and that's why they want to depopulate this country.
My point in saying that is they want everything to be electronic, because I have a feeling that's the great hack.
Yeah. It could be. I knew you were going with that. I was waiting to hear what you had to say with the great hack.
Right.
And even in that situation, you still have to you can't win everything, because then it would be very clear to see, oh, well, this
I don't think they're worried about that.
I don't know. I think Americans are still in that point where they need to say, oh, well, you won some of these elections.
Exactly.
You look at Virginia. That's the one that blows my mind in the recent election in Virginia. How the hell did every seat in the state go Republican except the governor?
And that
or not the governor, but the I can't remember the position, the highest position that was on election day there. And it's like Youngkin had done so well in Virginia, and then all of a sudden, all the races went Republican except the biggest one that was up that day.
Yeah, it's
Lieutenant Governor. I was like, huh, what? Or it was Kentucky. Excuse me. In Kentucky, they lose the state election. They lose the governorship in Kentucky. Bashir's one. Excuse me. It wasn't Virginia. They win every state office in Kentucky except the governor. It's like, what?
Right.
Huh?
I mean, that's so obvious. I mean, it is, but you can't say it's obvious because you have to come up with the proof. And every time people do come up with the proof, they try to ruin them, and they don't get it to the judges. Or when the judges do get it, they're all liberal and they won't look at the evidence.
It just depends on where you live. It depends on it depends on that area as well, and everything
Very
that's
true.
happening. Yeah. This is cancelthisshow.com. Please like, subscribe, share the show, send us stars. We appreciate it when you guys do that. Glenn says the Trump team will be able to expose all the election fraud in the Georgia case. Let's hope that could happen. That's for sure. Also, Jeannie says, just watch Naked and Afraid and prepare for the inevitable.
Oh my gosh, that's funny and sad at the same time.
I mean, seriously, there's a lot of that stuff that starts to happen. Paul says Jay Nixon was elected here in Missouri. Yeah, he was. You're right. That was Missouri. It was a different time politically, though, too. I think you could agree with that, Paul. A lot of things have changed since Jay Nixon was in office, starting with the whole Michael Brown situation.
Correct.
That led into so many other things that led into Obama's as he started to go out, which led into Trump, which led into this nightmare that we have. And we're nowhere closer. There's no way in hell the state of Missouri is anywhere close to going liberal. Not now.
No.
St. Louis City is what it is. Kansas City is what it is. And Columbia is what it is because
Mhm.
it's a college town. But yeah, I think it was a different time.
I think it was a different time too. I think
Jay
he
Nixon
probably
would
was.
be Jay Nixon would be arguably quasi-Republican right now.
Isn't that the truth? I mean, he did some things. I know when I had my business under him, I didn't like him, basically because he loved to legislate child care centers, and so he was definitely
Well, he was a Democrat. He believed in more government.
He
That's
sure
that's
did.
true.
For sure. And I think, though, it was exposed that Missouri didn't want any more of that because of him, because of what happened with legislation and the Ferguson riots, for sure. The stand down, when he told our police to stand down, I think that was the last time we were going to have a Democrat in the foreseeable future.
It's very interesting. I know his son, or one of his
Mhm.
sons, who is a hardcore conservative Republican.
Wow. So the son. That's great. I love that. I love that.
I've talked about having him on the show at times. He's a wild guy.
I love it.
And
Love
he
it.
is hardcore young millennial conservative.
That's beautiful. That's a beautiful thing.
Nixon raised a hardcore conservative millennial.
Love it. Love it. So good parenting right there.
Oh yeah, good parenting.
Mhm.
Yeah, of course.
Mhm.
This is cancelthisshow.com. Wanted to let everybody know, hey, we're going to do our party December 7th at Winty's at 7 p.m. Would love to have everybody come out. That would be fantastic.
Be so fun.
7 p.m. It'll be a 1-year anniversary of the show.
Mhm.
Also, a holiday party.
Yeah, that's going to be great.
Come out. We'll take care of, try to take care of some food there.
Do we have some sort of flyer or anything made up?
Not yet. In your spare time, if you wanted to do one, you can.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
add that to your list.
Yeah, right.
Add that to your whole list there to do.
I can do that between shows today.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
7 p.m. December 7th. That's a Thursday. 7
Mhm.
p.m. December 7th, Thursday. Once again, 7 p.m. Thursday, December
Yes.
7th.
And I would love to see anybody that's local, Illinois, Missouri. It's, anybody that's around here, just come on out. We would like to see other patriots.
Yes.
We want to see patriots.
Take some
all at one
pictures,
place.
meet people, just have a good time on a Thursday night. So we'll be doing that. We look forward to that as well. Of course, you can always go to our website, canceltheshow.com. Check out our merchandise when it comes to hats and cups. We got shirts. We've got our Cancel This coffee. We appreciate it when you do that as well, as Joe shows you some of those items. And if you've already got your gear, you can send it to somebody else. It is the holiday season that's coming up as well. Jeannie says, what's up with a weekday?
We did that on purpose for
Yeah.
two reasons, because so many people have holiday parties
Mhm.
on the weekends, and Wendy's is so packed on the weekends. We thought a Thursday was still weekendy-ish enough, and it wouldn't be quite as packed, so we can just pack it with Cancel This people, and more people couldn't come if it was on the weekends.
Yeah, so that's why we were doing that. And
Yeah.
we appreciate donations, people who've donated in the past. It helps us right now as well continue to do what we're doing. If anybody can do anything, we're grateful. It goes into what we do with the free speech here at Cancel This, as we continue to try to bring you what we do on a daily basis, because what we do is produce a lot of content every single day, especially for podcasts, as people who are just trying to make it. It's a lot what we do. A lot.
A lot.
And we work around the clock to try to bring you the best show that we can. And we're grateful with you guys who jump in with us as well to try to help us every day as well. Joe, did you have something to say?
No, I was just sitting forward.
And you know what? You guys have to come, if for no other reason, but to see Wilson, the pro Joe, who doesn't put his face in front of the camera. He really is real. So some people even ask me, is Joe really real?
AI.
Yeah, he's AI. Yeah, actually, our producer's AI. So we're going to have a stand-in for our AI pro Joe. So if you want to see the stand-in pro Joe, you need to come out.
I hear he's a good-looking guy.
He really is. He's a good looking. He's a hunk of burning love.
Hey, if
you
can make it, great. If you can't, that's fine. Obviously,
no, it's not fine. They need to come.
We go out all across the country, but for the people who live in the St. Louis area who can make that would be fantastic. If you could do that. So anyway, we appreciate that. Cancel This, cancelthisshow.com. And always check, as we ask, for your help with donations. If you have sponsor ideas, let us know. Advertisers or ways or shows or way that we can grow our brand, let us know. But also the partners who have partnered with us. If you're going to purchase something in their arena of items, please look at them first. At least check them out. Let them know you hear them on cancelthisshow.com because they help us do what we're doing as well. And that's so huge when you're in the podcasting game for what we're doing right now. So we are grateful for all of that.
Very
Also,
grateful
for this week, because we had to save some time to do all of these things. We're not going to have a show on Thursday.
Correct.
Happy Thanksgiving. As soon as the show ends, we'll tape something. We'll have a little bit of show on Friday and we can rerun it, but we'll have something for you on Friday that you can get up and watch or listen to on our Black Friday shows. So we can do that.
Yeah, we're going to have a Black Friday show on Friday. Tomorrow we're here live like normal.
Yes. And tomorrow is absolutely normal. And I think that's pretty much everything there. Is there anything else that's going on? I mean, I didn't see any other headlines come out yet today. We
probably covered even more than we should have.
No, we covered a lot.
We could end it with Lil Pump doing a "We Want Trump."
Oh, do it.
I did send that the other day.
Let's do it.
This is from a concert over the weekend, and I believe it's in Arizona. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, Lil Pump performer.
Lil Pump.
When would you ever think? I mean, it just goes to show a lot of the black artists, they're not buying what the Democrats are selling anymore. Check it out.
One thing to say, we want Trump. We want Trump. We want Trump. We want Trump. One thing to say, we want Trump. We want Trump. We want Trump. We want Trump.
That is freaking awesome.
Oh, that did my heart so
Pump
good.
Loves Trump.
Oh, yeah. That should be a shirt, Derek. Pump loves Trump.
And those are a lot of Gen Zers.
Yeah.
That's what
and that goes to my point yesterday. More and more and more young people have.
I hope. I
think so.
That would be.
I don't know because
that's the key.
I saw
the key is
our
the youth.
midterm election last year, 18 to 35. Every single state voted against Republican ideals and voted against conservatives.
Lots happened since then, though.
I hope. I'm just giving facts. I'm not giving opinion. 18 to 35, every single state went hardcore blue.
Yeah, and that's normal. It seems like our youth have always voted with their heart and not their head.
I mean, I'd love to be a hap slappy guy. There's a lot of people who do conservative radio and do conservative. Oh yeah, man, screw the liberals. But they don't even talk any fact. We're an educated show. We're going to talk fact. I hated to see
even when the facts hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, they hurt.
Sometimes we just want to be an honest show, but hell yeah, when we got a chance to do it, I hope you're right.
I hope
you see some of those things.
I hope I do. And the circles I go in, the youth who do not have a house are getting more pissed in their parents' basement because of Joey Biden. Yeah. And so they want out and they want a house and they want a car and they want all of that.
We are totally effed.
Yeah, we are.
If the youth think that Joe Biden is the answer, or that Kamala Harris knows what the hell she's doing, or if Gavin Newsom is somewhat clueless, somewhat has a clue.
Right. Yep.
It is what it is.
And we got to educate our kids, and we do have to ruffle feathers. You were talking about ruffling feathers. If we don't ruffle feathers, it doesn't really bother us that much. But if we don't continue to ruffle those feathers, it's going to hurt our children and our grandchildren. We're not doing it for ourselves. We're doing it for the future.
No, I get it as well. Guys, we appreciate you joining us for Cancel This, not only today, but every day, Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. Central, and all the time on our website, cancelthisshow.com. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing on all the platforms, for sharing our shows to make sure that it goes out, or if there's a specific spot, not only on the visual platforms, but the audio platforms as well. You can send those out very easy, just like a text. So we're grateful for that as well. So we'll go ahead and say goodbye and call it a show for this November 21st for Projo, AI Projo,
AI
Unabomber,
the Unabomber AI
hoodie.
Yep,
Joe Kaczynski.
There he is.
I'm Vic Faust. Guys, have an awesome day. We'll talk to you tomorrow.